Hi, this is Mark Wiltshire. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Explore Finland radio show. And this sound, well, that is the sound of a frisbee hitting a basket. And that is a sound that is like music to the ears of my guest today, Pekka Hautala, who talks to me about his hobby of Frisbee Golf, which is also known as disc golf, where the idea is to get your frisbee around the Frisbee Golf course in as few shots as possible, landing it into the basket at the end of each hole. In this episode, which is quite long, so I'll keep this introduction down to the minimum. In this episode, I first talked to Pekka. He talked to me about the game itself, the rules, a few tips on playing the game. Then I go to meet with him while he's competing in the CityFrisbee Golf Tour competition that took place in Seinäjoki in the summer of 2015. Final section, brief interview with Juha Juntunen, who was one of the organisers of the CityFrisbee Golf Tour, and he took a few minutes out of his busy schedule on the day of the competition to speak to me and explain how the competition came about. That's enough from me for now. Let's head over to my conversation with Pekka. I'm here with Pekka Hautala. Pekka, thank you for joining me.
No worries.
And we're here today to talk about a game that I first played, maybe 12 or 14 years ago, with a friend of mine who was from Sweden. And he took me there and he introduced me to this game that I learned was Frisbee Golf. And it also goes by the name of
Disc golf.
Disc golf, yeah, that's right. So you find by searching online for Frisbee Golf or for disc golf, you'll come up with the same thing. I was introduced to you as someone who's really keen on playing Frisbee Golf, and I've since learned that there's a few places around here to play. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about the game itself, maybe the origins of the game.
Well, I was just yesterday browsing through the internet of the history of disc golf, and it's quite complex because nobody really knows where it originated.
Okay.
Originally, but there are markings that in 1926 in Vancouver, a bunch of kids just started playing with these tin lids.
Okay.
And did their own basket and everything, and they named it tin lid golf.
Okay.
They played it with the rules of golf, but into their baskets. But then they grew up and kind of forgot all about it. And then the next recorded sightings of disc golf or Frisbee golf is from 1950s, the end of 1950s, the beginning of 1960s, when they started making these plastic ones. And then people kind of just created new ways to do with the frisbee instead of just throwing it to each other. They started
or throwing it for a dog to go and catch.
Yeah. So they started thinking of new things. And then I think in 1972 there was this one guy, I don't remember his name now, but he he worked at the National Frisbee Association then.
Are we still in Canada?
No, we're in the States now.
Okay.
I think this was somewhere in the northern United States. And he started figuring out that people liked disc golf, and it started growing up, and it started becoming a bigger thing in the States. And then I think a few years from that, he started this professional disc golf association, which is like the highest association in disc golf. And I think it came to Finland in the beginning of 80s or something, because I've talked with, I don't know, I haven't read anything about it, I'm not sure about this, but I think that because I've talked with so many like veteran throwers, and they've been talking like, well, yeah, we had in Kaivopuisto in Helsinki, like in 82, we made these these baskets on our own and started just throwing, and they've seen some magazines or something, pictures from United States about disc golf, and wanted to try it on their own. And then they of course started, I think in the beginning of 90s, the Suomen Frisbee Liitto, Finnish Frisbee Association, and I think the biggest boost for this sport was in the late 90s, beginning of 2000, when it kind of boosted up in Finland. In Sweden it was already, I think in the mid-90s, it was a huge thing, but then it kind of began bubbling under here in Finland, and then it just blew. I think last year there were like 40,000 new registered players. 40,000.
Yeah, okay. In a country of 5 million or so,
Yeah.
that's quite a lot of people for a game. I see. Growing up in the UK, and even since I played it in Sweden, I never saw it anywhere. And there's people listening to this probably thinking, yeah, of course, you idiot, we have Frisbee Golf in the UK. But I hadn't seen it before I moved here, and I haven't had anyone sort of mention it to me since I've been living here. But I have learned that there's 2 or 3, do you call them courses or...
Courses, tracks, whatever you want to call it.
We're here in Seinäjoki, and there's one right near the centre of Seinäjoki in the Tärnävä area. I know there's another one in Seinäjoki as well.
Yeah, they're both 9-lane tracks, courses. But then there's one in Honkakylä, when you start going from here towards Tampere.
Yeah, okay.
It's, I think, about 10 kilometers from the center of Seinäjoki.
Oh, okay.
And it's 18 lanes. And then there's one in Kauhajoki, which is like 50-60 kilometers from here. There's one in Alavus. I think there's one in Lapua too. I think in last year there were 400 new tracks.
Really? In the country?
In Finland, yeah.
And that's the beauty of the game, isn't it? And in a moment I'll get you to sort of explain a little bit about the equipment. But the beauty of the game is that as long as you've got a parkland area, it doesn't have to be huge. And to set up a 9-track or 9-lane course, it's not that expensive. So it is a game that's kind of put into sort of parkland, and it's free for people to use. So it's kind of it's a sort of a family thing. It's not elitist like maybe golf, regular golf is perceived. It's just rock up with a few discs, a few frisbees, and away you go. Maybe you can explain the equipment and how it's set out. I've got an idea in my mind, but there might be people listening that can't picture quite how this works. Well, how do you get a frisbee into a hole if you're playing golf? Let's go there. Deal with that.
Okay. Well, first of all, a good advice that I got from this veteran player who introduced me to disc golf in, I think it was 2007 during the summer. He said that forget everything that you know about throwing a frisbee, because in the end it doesn't have anything to do with like the traditional throwing a frisbee to a dog or throwing a frisbee with your friends on the beach.
Right, this is important. This is really important for me, and I'm going to keep this. This isn't going to get published until way after the summer, and this is important to me. This might make a big difference to me playing the game during this summer. So bring it on.
Because first of all, the grip from the disc is different. You hold a disc golf disc like with, I think it's power grip, the name of the grip. You tuck your fingers towards the rim of the disc instead of holding them like straight underneath it.
Maybe we can take some pictures later or after the recording anyway, and put them on with the show notes, so we can show people some of these different things. Idea. But anyway, for my benefit, this is good.
Yeah, and then well, of course, there's different types of discs and how they react to your power. And
actually, I've got 3 discs in front of me here, which we bought a few years ago, and they're all different. Maybe you can explain to everybody how they're different.
Yeah, well, first of all, the driver, I think the most used disc in disc golf. It's slim. It doesn't have much of this alteration.
Yeah, it's quite flat.
It's quite flat, yeah. And also, if compared, for example, to the putter, you can see the rim here. It has this well, how do you say it?
It's got quite a wide lip to the rim compared to what you called the putter. The driver is very flat with a wide rim, and then the putter is deeper with a very narrow.
Yeah, and usually also a different kind of plastic, because the putter has to be like flexible, and it has to stay in the chains of the disc golf basket. Instead of the driver, it has to create this lifting kind of a cloud.
Yeah.
That when you throw it, like with maximum speed, it pushes the disc upwards, and it kind of...
It floats.
It floats kind of floats, yeah. And there are these numbers on the disc. The first one is speed.
Okay.
This is a 9-speed disc, so it's pretty common in drivers. I use from 10 to 12 speed drivers. Then there's 4, which means the second number, which means which kind of velocity it gets when the boost of the disc ends.
Okay.
So some disc, like for example this putter, if you throw it with maximum speed, it just keeps this.
Yeah. Okay.
If you throw it straight, but with drivers, it always, if you're right-handed and you throw from inside, it always floats left during the end.
Okay.
And then there's of course variations to the position of your hand when you throw and this kind of stuff. But
I imagine that my hand, there's a variation every single time that I throw it, which is why I don't have the accuracy that I might need.
And then the third number in the disc is, it's usually from +3 to -3, which means the stability of the disc when it flies. This is a -2 disc, which means that if you throw it straight, it takes a bit to the right first.
Okay.
And then takes the ending to the left. And then the last one is how much till the end it keeps its speed.
Yeah, okay.
So if the bigger the number this one is, the more faster it kind of ends the flotation.
That's very technical for what is a variation on a garden game. And you're right. I bought my set in here. This was kind of a standard, I guess, a beginner pack bought from the shop locally here.
That's a good pack of discs because when I started 8 years ago, I only bought one driver and a putter.
Okay.
And this, I was talking about these veteran guys I saw in Tampere. I used to live in Tampere. I saw this one guy, the same guy who started in the 80s in Helsinki. He said that everyone should learn the sport with a putter first, and then start using variations of the
so
other
you
discs.
learn to control the disc, and
the technique and everything. It's easiest to learn with a putter.
It's like starting playing normal golf with a 9 or an 8 iron.
Yeah,
because it's easier and you can get the ball through the air, and then you move to the more and more difficult clubs. So it makes sense.
And those statistic numbers on the discs, I don't that much look at them except for the speed. because I always want to learn the new disc, how it goes and how it flies and how it reacts to wind and that sort of stuff.
So you get a feel for the disc once you've used it.
Yeah, because I'm not that technical thrower that I can like adjust my throwing technique to the disc just by the numbers. I have to learn it by throwing.
You said just before about the basket. Explain a little bit about the basket, how that what it looks like, and
I think it's about 1.50 meters or 1.60 meters tall. Then it has a leg, a post that it stands on, and then there's this rim, kind of like a basket, which surrounds it, and then there's another ring on top, which has these chains in different positions, so that when you throw a disc to it, it kind of sticks to the chains. And
it hits the chains and drops into the basket. That's the theory. I've learned there's nothing more frustrating than hitting the chains and then it just falls outside the basket. That sucks.
That's one of the things that I hate. And also one thing that I hate is when you throw it on top of the basket.
Well, it sits on top of the rings. Yeah, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count, and it's also one extra shot to your.
Oh, you get punished. You get punished for it.
Yeah,
that's tough.
And there are different kinds of baskets. I like this disc catcher. I think it's from Innova, which has this thick yellow rim on top, and it has the most like logical height, and I think it's the best in disc golf.
Because when the municipal areas, like in the parkland or whatever, they're metal. They're made to survive through the Finnish winter and be durable. But you can also get these, you actually see people with them in their gardens around here sometimes. I don't know if they're permanent ones that they leave out or if they're some temporary that you bring out for the summer. What are the different types, and what's the one that you just said that you prefer?
The one that I prefer is the one that sticks. They put it in the ground and put some concrete to the leg, and that it stays there 24/7, 365. But there are different types of, like, there's portable ones. I have one portable. It's a shitty thing. Nobody should ever throw into one of those. And then there's these same kind, that is the yellow one, the Innova one, but with the portable possibility that you can take it with you.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the best in my opinion, because I live in a flat building and we don't have that much yard there, so it's easy to just grab along and go somewhere, probably practice your putting or something.
Yeah. If you go to the summer cottage or something, you can just set it up somewhere nearby and just, there's endless possibilities.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. I think that people should be more open to the variations of the game, not just go to the course, build their own courses and like explore the possibilities of the game, because they are endless.
And challenge yourself so that you're not always going around the same track and you know where it is. You mentioned just now about landing your disc on top of the net and having extra points onto your score. How does the scoring system work?
Well, scoring system is almost the same as in traditional golf, with a couple of exceptions. First of all, there's, like in regular golf, there's out of bounds. There are these certain lines that you have to stay on the lane. And if you go out of bounds or into the water, it's one like penalty shot to your scorecard. There's par to every lane. It's usually par 3. And if you throw one over, it's +1 to your scorecard. If you throw one under, it's -1. And they have the same names: albatross, birdie, par, bogey, double bogey. You can use mulligans, which is the same in regular golf, that if you kind of waste your opening shot and you want to take it again, you can use a mulligan. I think it has something to do with your tasoitus. Hold on, what is that? Your rating.
Yeah, or your handicap, maybe,
in
golf.
Yeah. That it depends on your handicap that how many mulligans you can use, and then there's these like differences with golf. For example, if your disc gets stuck on a tree or a branch or something like this, and I think the height is 2 meters. If it's above 2 meters, then it's out of bounds. But if it's under 2 meters, you can continue from there.
And if it's out of bounds, then you obviously you have a penalty shot added to your score, and you carry on from there. Well, have you ever lost any discs up in the trees?
No, not up in the trees, but in lakes and in forest. I've lost like maybe 20 discs.
And it's a lot more expensive than losing a golf ball, that's for sure.
It is. Well, the discs, they're from 10 euros to, well, the most expensive ones are, I think, in 40, 50 euros. If you want to order from United States.
Yeah,
like
that's
this.
pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, signature discs. There are these drop zones that if the map of the lane, there are these certain like differences, variations of how do you do a lane. There's mandatories, which means that, for example, there's a arrow in the tree that you have to go from left past this tree or from right. Then if you throw it out of bounds from the tee, then there's, in some lanes, there's this drop zone where you can go and continue from there and get the one extra shot, of course. Well, of course, there's these gentleman rules, which are not like anywhere in the official ruling system, but for example, always wait when they call them pools, and there's from 2 to 6 players in one pool.
Right, okay, so all could be playing at the same time.
Yeah, because if it's more than 6, then it gets kind of difficult when you have to wait so much and all sorts of things. But there are no ruling how many of people can there be in one pool, but they've said that 6 is probably the biggest number. You have to wait for the other pool to go on, because there's always, you feel them. It's pretty hard. Tough.
If one of these drivers hits your head, it won't kill you, but it will sting.
Yeah. I've seen once a friend of mine threw opening from the tee, and some lady, just when the disc got off his hand, came with a bike and straight to the forehead. And I think 6 or 7 stitches. Yeah,
that's what I was just thinking, because when the discs are bashing into things as they're landing, the edges of these are all quite rough. So if it's spinning through the air and hits you, it would probably make a nasty cut.
Yeah, so it's kind of always disc golf throwers are trying to eliminate the possibility that if you kind of miss your shot, that there's no one around. And if there is, they use the same word as in regular golf, for.
Yeah.
That people know that there's 175 grams of plastic coming your way.
That's if they realise they're even in the middle of a disc golf course. That being in a sort of municipal parkland, sometimes it's not so clear if you don't know where you are.
The second thing about these gentleman rules is. Everybody always writes their name and number behind the disc, so that if it goes missing somewhere in the forest or in the lake or wherever you're throwing, if somebody finds it, he has the possibility of giving a call or giving a text.
So literally write your name and number on the back of that. Okay, interesting.
And Disc Golf Club Provinssi has, which is the Finnish Seinäjoki chapter of disc golf clubs, They have this system in Facebook that if you find someone's desk, you can just put a message there or then give a text or something. But most of them, these clubs have this own return box
Right, okay.
at the course. So if you find someone's disc, you can just put it there, and the club takes care that people find their own.
That's very, very gentlemanly.
It is. But nowadays it's starting to get that, like, kids are, well, for example, here in Seinäjoki, in Törnävä, kids are swimming just when the ice leaves from the river. They start swimming for discs there, and then they use nail polish cleaner to take the number off and just put it in their own case.
That's like treasure.
It is.
Although, to be honest, if someone's bothered to go wading or swimming into the freezing cold water, I would say they deserve that disc, whether it's gentlemanly or not.
Yeah.
So do you belong to the local club?
No,
Okay.
I don't. But I should.
And do you compete in competitions?
I haven't. I don't know why. I've never kind of gotten into the whole competing thing. I think that the main reason is that I don't think that I'm that good.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I think that I should. And now, of course, Saturday's CityFrisbee Golf tour would be a nice start.
Yeah, that's
competing.
something that that intrigued me. I mean, I wanted to do something about Frisbee Golf, and I was glad that we were introduced by Larry, who did the episode 3 about Seinäjoki. And he said, "Oh, you should speak to my friend Pekka. He likes Frisbee Golf." So I waited until spring or summer. And then I learned that there's this competition. So the two things that went together perfectly. Yeah. Explain what you know about this event that's taking place in Seinäjoki. We're talking now at the very beginning of June in 2015, and on Saturday the 6th of June this event's going on. So by the time people get to listen to this, it will be in the past. But still, as a concept, it caught my attention.
The main idea is to bring disc golf away from the parks to the center of the city.
Just say again the name of the event.
CityFrisbee Golf tour.
Yeah.
And they bring it in the center of the city, where of course all the people are. And they're building a 9-lane course for a day in the city center, which is by itself already a marvelous idea.
I think it's a great idea. I think it kind of makes you feel like when you play a video game and suddenly instead of playing football on a football pitch, you're playing in a car park in the centre of town, and it's kind of like Super Mario disc golf. It's all slightly urban and a bit different. You can imagine that the area around the church, Lapidon Risti Church, and the town hall, where there's some interesting spaces, some nice architecture. It would be good to sort of see it played around there. And
also, I think the main reason is that they have to find places for the lanes where they can manage with the security. Because as we talked just now about the disc, it is almost as a lethal weapon. It comes off your hand like 100, 120 kilometers per hour. So that's a lot of velocity that if it hits you in the head or somewhere, it's dangerous. So they have to find these places where they can kind of manage the crowd.
I'm planning to come along on Saturday and check out the event. So hopefully you'll have found a team or at least a partner to play with.
Yeah, let's hope. I'm thinking about asking one of my friends. It's 2 to 4 contestants, and if I can get 3 guys with me, that would be the best case scenario. It's going to be a nice event, I think. Let's just hope there are lots of people.
Well, let's hope the weather turns better as well. We were supposed to record this outside in Törnävä today, and I didn't realise how the weather was until you sent me a message an hour or so before we were supposed to meet. And it's really windy. It would have been horrible sound.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have been able to throw the discs. So it made sense to come in here and, hopefully record something that people can bear to listen to. Let's hope it's better weather on Saturday and we can see you throwing the discs and maybe have a chat. For now, we should take a breath and talk again on Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's the morning now of Saturday the 6th of June. I'm here in the middle of Seinäjoki and it's kind of the first warm day, not very warm, but relatively warm day this summer. It's a bit windy, which might make things interesting when it comes to throwing frisbees, but at least it's not raining. And so I got here early. I've had a wander around part of the town. I've seen a few of the tracks set out. I'm going to take a few pictures and try and show you what those will look like, and also try and grab a few words with Pekka as he's going through and playing. So let's see how the rest of the morning goes. Pekka, I found you. You've just done hole number 1. How did it go?
Well, we started with a +1. It was a tough hole. There were lots of trees in front of the basket, but all the other teams are also in +1, so even.
Even after that hole, and it was a tricky hole. I could barely see the basket when I was standing by the cone at the beginning. So just explain how what the gameplay is in this team event.
Well, we're playing this alternate shot with teams, which means that the one who opens the hole doesn't throw anymore, so that it goes all the team members play after each other.
And of course,
the same hole.
You don't want to be taking more than 4 shots on one hole. That would be a particularly bad hole.
Yeah, it would.
And it was interesting just to see as we went through the 3. You've got 3 teams. Now that's typical when you're recording outside that the emergency services want to get involved. We'll just wait for those to go past. I was trying to say that it was noticeable that after the 3 teams teed off, then everybody walked en masse, including the supporters, which I think at the moment is basically me with my microphone in front of your face.
My parents and my spouse.
Oh, they're here as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're coming here to hole number 2. I'm going to switch this off. I don't think we'll necessarily need to speak between every hole, but I'll catch up with you a little bit further round.
Yeah, thanks.
We're now walking back after hole number 5. How's it going so far?
Well, we're leading our pool,
okay,
which consists of 3 teams, 2 plus ours. We're in +3 now, and I think the next team is around +5 or +6.
So that's three shots above par.
Yeah.
After 5 holes, all of which are 3 pars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the weather, I mentioned it before we started talking. It's warm. It's overcast. It's quite windy.
Yeah.
How's that wind affecting things?
Well, it hasn't affected yet, because there's lots of trees around these holes that we've been throwing. But let's hope that there's any gushy winds, because that affects a lot.
There was one just now when some of the teams were playing their close-up shots, but it didn't seem to affect them too much, and not as much as actually having the river to cross just there on that last hole. One of the teams found that quite tough, and lost a couple of discs.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a bit more expensive, like we were saying the other day. It's a bit more expensive than losing a golf ball.
Yeah, it is. And it didn't seem to affect them that much, though.
No, that's true. And so now there's 3 teams in your pool that you mentioned. There's 10 in total.
Yeah.
How many times do you play? Is it just once around the course?
2 rounds around the course.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a putting contest in between of the courses.
Right, okay.
Yeah, all the teams throw 15 discs at the Carlsberg Sports Bar.
Right, okay. And that's hole number 9 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right, oh, that's good. Well, maybe that might be where I stop stalking you for today and let you get on and play in peace. We'll speak one more time, maybe at that hole.
Yeah, let's do that.
We just finished the 9th hole now. How's the score looking halfway round?
Well, not very good. There's a bunch of par twos that we've messed up, so to speak. But but still, we're leading our pool, so that's a good thing.
What's your score at the moment?
I think it's somewhere near +6, +7, something like that.
Have you looked at the leaderboard yet to see the other teams? Okay.
No, because all the teams haven't finished yet, so...
Well, that will tell you really how you're actually doing.
Yeah.
It's quite noisy here now because we're in the car park of the Casa Grande restaurant, and there's now going to be a putting competition. Each team having 15 putts at the basket to see who's the best there, and then you're going to be heading out for another round through the town. And I think this is time where I leave you to it. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me the other day, and also for putting up with me walking around asking you questions and sticking the microphone in your face.
No, thank you. This has been fun.
It has been fun for me as well. So I wish you good luck for the rest of the day, and I dare say I'll see you at the ASICOR game someday pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Thanks, Pekka. Bye.
Thank you.
I've just left Pekka to do his putting competition, and I'm speaking to Juha from Touchdown Productions, TD Productions, and I just wanted to ask you, Juha, a little bit about the CityFrisbee Golf tour that you've organised. Where did the idea come from?
Well, actually, it was like 1.5 years ago or something like that. Together with my business partner, we created this pond hockey event, and it was so much fun. And then, of course, after all the events, you go celebrate a bit. And in Finland, you always go with all your friends and the people that help you. You go to sauna and you have a couple of drinks there.
I've experienced this.
Yeah. So we were sitting there. We had a couple of drinks, and then we realized we both like to play Frisbee Golf. And then we thought of would it be possible to organize it downtown? In various cities. And then we thought let's give it a try. So last year in a small city called Kajaani, we did this for the first time.
Is that your hometown?
Yeah, that's my hometown. Okay. Yeah, that's the. Everybody knows Kajaani before Helsinki. No. Well, anyways, we organized it there last summer, and it was a huge success. Actually, there was actually 25 teams, about 80 players. It was a fun full day, and then it started to get a lot of publicity, and we thought okay, what is this? We just organize it for fun, and because due to the fact that it was such a big success, we decided let's make a tour. And so this year we cover 4 cities. This is Seinäjoki, it's the first one. Then we go to Tampere, and then Kuopio, and the last one is Kajaani.
It seemed from looking at your Facebook page that you got quite a few teams joining at the last minute. I guess that's always the way it goes.
Yeah. It was also last year. We were about to start, and we still got a phone call said, "Hey, if we come right now, can we still join in?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Come on.
And then the morning we were busy making the track and make sure everything was ready. And then one team called, and they were actually 300 k's away, and they gave us a call "Can we please come? Could you wait a bit?" And it was "Just come whenever you can. We make sure that you can participate as well."
Yeah, I think it's been fantastic. I was following Pekka walking around, and he was explaining a little bit about the arrangements for the competition and things like that. But it looks to me like it's been really well organised, and there's been small groups following around each of the pools and that. So I hope that next week you're in Tampere. It's a bigger city, probably more teams signed up.
We're probably going to get close to 50 teams in Tampere. I think
really
that's the limit what we can take. So at the moment we have 35, I think.
Okay.
And then the last week is always the busiest, so we might get 50 teams. Well, that's what we hope. It's going to be. We have to hope. Well, event like this, weather plays such a huge part, so we have to hope that it stays like this, because today it's kind of a perfect.
It's a bit windy.
It's tricky. It's tricky for the players. So that's we kind of like it. That it's not too easy. Yeah. And as you saw, one team almost lost all their discs.
It nearly did, all in the river.
Yeah,
I noticed that. I was a little bit I've played Frisbee Golf a few times, so I thought, I can't enter a competition because it would just be embarrassing. But actually, I reckon next year I'm up for it. And I'll try and get a team together, and I'll get Pekka to give me a little bit of coaching on how to do this thing properly.
Well, hell yeah. You should join in. It's my treat for sure. I invite you to come.
Yeah,
and I hope you will come.
That will be good. This podcast is going to go out sometime in the autumn of 2015. I'm recording it through the summer. So by the time it comes out, I guess we'll already be looking forward to next summer, and I'll make sure that it goes in the calendar.
Awesome, I like that.
Great.
That's nice to hear.
Thanks for organising it. It's good. It's always good, I think, when these things come to Seinäjoki, because it means I don't have to travel so far to attend them. And I wish you good luck for the rest of the events through the summer, and hopefully I'll see you next year.
You'll do that. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. And that's the final time you'll hear that sound effect, I guess, for a while. Big thanks to Pekka Hautala for giving me his time, letting me tag along while he played on the competition, and also to Juha Juntunen from TD Productions for taking a few minutes out of his busy day to explain a little bit about the competition to me. So remember, if you want to send me any suggestions for future episodes, then you can contact me on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on Google+. Remember also to head over to the iTunes or the Stitcher Radio app and to like, to review, and to rate the show. All of those things will help me to reach out to a bigger audience. And also remember, you can follow my website at the explorefinlandpodcast.com. If you don't want to follow me on social media, you can sign up there so that every time I publish a new episode, you'll get the show notes and you'll be advised that the new episode is available. So plenty of ways to keep in touch. Until next time, thank you very much for listening. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.